guys, so today we're talking about the best selling cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! I mentioned this at the penny stock market watch. I was very curious because the penny stock market watch is just like flooded with battles of legend monsters revenge. So I was very curious to see if this was something similar, as we do see the best selling card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Duality. It has a lot of, we talked about this card, the Duality. Like, this card is actually very interesting because Light and Dark just has so much support. Like, there's so many light cards and dark, like there's just so many of them that like a card like Duality is going to be super big, super huge. There's obviously Sky Striker Ace, Soul Synchron for some reason, but it's not as prominent. There's not as many Battles of Legend Monsters Revenge that are over $5, but like just look at the value here. I just think there's so much value for Battles of Legends Monsters Revenge. Like, if we kind of look at it a little bit deeper, like last week it was 67, and the reason I didn't have a video on Friday last week, I actually moved, which is why the backdrop looks different too. But the value here is pretty solid. You have the Tiramisu, you have Welcome Labyrinth, Lady Labyrinth, Enchantress, Assault Synchron, Engage, Lubellion, some punk cards, Rite of Adamus here. But then you also have like Zeus, Danger Nessie, Ibli, Terraforming, Super Poly. So a lot of like really good cards. I actually think this set's really solid, and if you can get it for under 60, I think you got to pull the trigger. Wild Survivors is sitting at 60, right? And that feels like really good. That doesn't feel like as good of value, because there's really, like, other than like Ground Xeno and Vanquish Soul, there's not like a whole lot going on with this set. Like even like the cards like UCT collector's rare is only like 60 right now. Like Fossil Digs are 60. Like, it's not really that great of value. If that's the lottery ticket you're looking for, that's not really that great. And the Cyberstorm Access, I don't think 44. Okay, I was gonna say it's like sitting about 60 as well. 60 is really good value though. For this, the Firewall stuff is starting to pop up more and more. This is a really good card in the archetypes that can run it. This is a really good, generically good card. Firewall stuff, like I said, Gold Pride, but I still like Battles of Legends Monsters Revenge as the best set between the three of those, right? Taking a look at this card, this card has been playing mind games with us for quite some time. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it start to creep back down again because of the fear of the ban list again. Like, that's literally like, this was the ban list spike, oh, it didn't get banned, oh my gosh, and this was the peak, and now it's starting to creep back down. If it sinks under 30, I would pull the trigger. You can get Koreans for $5. You can't play them, but you can get them. Runic Tip at 24 is interesting. Like, them hitting Fountain to 2 kind of makes me think like the Runic stuff is safe. I could be wrong, but like I feel like that last ban list was the best one to hit it, to hit Runic with. Now, if it's going to hit Runic again and it's not going to be Fountain, it's going to be Runic Tip, right? So just keep that in mind when we're talking about picking up Runic cards. Just be on the lookout for all of that. Baron de Fleurs are interesting as well because they finally sunk under 50. They did finally sink under 50, so that's really cool. I assume that this is the reprinted version. Yeah, Maze of Memories. Indeed it is. That's the other one. The other one is actually doing better for... No, it's not. Okay, so it's a little bit higher. So they're both under 50 for Barons, which is really cool. I don't think Baron's going to get hit on the ban list. In all honesty, they could have hit Baron instead of Scythe. But Scythe probably needed to go, right? Scythe is a really fantastic card. Baron might not get hit ever, and it might just be that generically really good card. Now, we start talking about the R word, right? Reprint. That's definitely going to lower its value, but I think that's what I would do. That's probably what I am going to do, to be all honesty, is like waiting for the Baron reprint to be announced and then picking up the cards then. Because Clearly, this last reprint took Baron from 70 to 40, which is big. It's $30, jump. Well, really, 70 to 50, but that's still big. It's $20 jump. But the next one might take it from 50, 45 to about 20, 25, and then it'll start to creep back up to 30. So I definitely think there's, even with a reprint, there's definitely some value to be gained with old Baron de Fleur. Vanquish Soul stuff is kind of interesting because let's actually just go back to where we just at, Wild Survivors, because Vanquish Soul is pretty solid. And it's I think budget gets thrown out a lot. Like Tombox MSC.TV posts or tweeted out a question about like what exactly is budget, like 80, 50, 100, 200. I think when we look at Vanquish Soul though, none of the cards are hugely priced, right? Like if we just get rid of collector's rares, right? And we're just talking about Vanquish Souls cards from the standpoint of like the lowest rarity possible. We have this card. I think you only run this at 1, right? But let's just say it's play sets, right? So 3 at $1.50 is $4.50. 3 at $2.50. This is, I think you do run this at 3. Is 9. So $4.50 plus 9 is $13.50. This is 15. So $14.50 plus 45 is 49. $6.59. Plus 45 is 115, 114. Stake Your Soul, we're starting to creep up now to 45 again for 115. We'll just round up, say it's 160. And then Rock is about 15 again. So because they're all about $15, right, for a card. So about 45 for a playset. So we're looking at 205, and so maybe like 250 for a Vanquish Soul deck. Now, if we go to eBay real quick and see what they're selling for, it might be a little bit different. Oh yeah, I forgot about the quick play. Where was the quick play? Wait, has the quick play already came out? Oh goodness gracious, I didn't even. Oh, it's just continue. It's just super cheap. Okay. So this is $350. This is $385, but it does give you Zodiac package, which is, I mean, Exciton Knight's about like 10. I think the big Spriggans card, Gigantic, is like 6 or 7. Common Ashes feel bad. That Common Dogran, yeah, that feels bad. Small Worlds are like 4 or 5. Imperms are 10. So there might be $100 worth of value added there. If we go back up, and there's other places to get cores as well. But if we look at this, $350 for just the core, I don't know if that value is there. But it is the last item available, so that's cool. $425. I wouldn't pay $425 for it. This is interesting though, at $209 plus, because it's in Germany, so it's a little bit more expensive. So you get 8 Vanquish Soul cards, which if we go back, it's missing the link. Yeah, it's missing the link. So it's not all of them, unfortunately. For $200, this is $450. I'm really trying to find the one that gives you the best value. Are these Korean? These are indeed Korean. So this might be one of those situations where you get Korean again, Singapore, Bulgaria. It's interesting. this may be one of those situations where it's better to get it off of TCG Player. But let me just do this real quick. Vanquish Soul Core, because there are some places that will just sell cores. Okay, I can't find it right now off the top. But point I'm trying to make is this: when I think of decks that I would consider picking up, it's less based on price and more based on value, because like most meta decks are gonna run you $400 to $600. So for Vanquish Soul to be about $200 to $300 doesn't feel terrible. You could just wait a year and play it when it's not as good and it's budget, or it's a little bit more budget friendly. Because I could definitely see that. Like if Vanquish Soul at its peak is like $300 at its value, it could end up being like a really good budget archetype once like the reprints come out, obviously. And that sort of lowers the value, because it is a cool archetype and it's a funky archetype. I kind of I call it like good UA because of what the archetype does. If you know, you know. If you don't know what Ultra Athletes are, it's fine. You don't have to know that. That's not gonna it's not gonna make you any worse off by not knowing what Ultra Athletes are. Magnificent Maven's display box being up here is interesting. I mean, Magnificent Mavens, it has linkage, Lightning Storm, Imperm, Talents. It's got you some Sword Soul reprints. Appaloosa's cool. This Secret Pharaoh rare Dark Magician Girl, lunches on you if you pull that card, right? But I wouldn't get a box. No, I would not get a box. So this is interesting. Like, it was selling for $95. Like, I don't know what is supposed to be in this set. What card is that? Why do I not know? Rev it up again. So we're doing synchro stuff still. Listen, like we were just talking about the boxes. One is like 60, 66, right? This one's for 60. This one's technically 60, right? So if you want to do the pre-sale game and get it for 70, you can. Just don't be upset if the set comes out in a couple weeks and it's lower. Like, it's just clearly like the sets are being sold for less than 70. So I just wouldn't do it. But if you want it, because you want it as soon as it comes out, and so you'll pay the extra $10 to get it the day it comes out, that's fine. I would not. I don't think it's worth. Like, just go to a store and just buy a box. I'm sure, and maybe that's not as simple for some people to just go to, a local store and get the box the day it comes out, because maybe they only have one store, they don't have one nearby, et cetera, et cetera. So I understand there's certain circumstances that are different for every person, but if you have the ability to not do pre-sale, I wouldn't. It's just literally a waste of money, because you also have to pay for shipping. Like, it's not just this. Like, when it comes to pre-sale, it's also, well, I guess the shipping's included, but you also have to pay for taxes on it as well if you're in that kind of state, which I am. So that's why I always consider that type of thing. Dragoon. We're going to talk about Dragoon in a hot minute. I mean, there's the Starlight Rare, which is the Starlight Rare, but the other two versions are only $15, which isn't terrible. If you're running the Bestial stuff, this card's actually like really easy to make, right? Because you could use a fusion substitute. Not like, it doesn't have to be King of the Swamp. It can be the Hex cards. It can be Mystical Sheep, or whatever that card's called. It could be King of the Swamp as well. There's a lot. I think Elemental Hero Prisma is its name. I don't know. I was just doing the Penny Stock Marker watch, and we talked about Elemental Heroes there. So there's a lot that can like do a little bit manipulation as far as like the names are concerned. And if you're running the Bestial stuff, you can literally get a free pop. And this isn't a This isn't a once per turn pop. The negate is a once per turn, but the pop is not. So this is still a really fantastic card. I would consider just like messing around with it. You know, if it gets under 15 for both copies or at 15, I would consider it definitely, because it's a card that sneaks its way back into the format. And what you can do really is like you can mess around with Dragoon. If you don't like it, just sit and wait, because someone's probably going to top a YCS or something like that with that card in its extra deck, and it's going to make it go up to 20, and you'll be in a great spot. Therion King Regulus, though, nose dove after the hits to Super Heavy Samurai. And now, I mean, I'm curious to see. I kind of hit its low point at 28.63, but it's still being sold, even though that was its low point. It's still being sold. Like, this one's selling up for $28 on the dot. I mean, 0% feedback and 26 sales. You know, you got to take your risk with that. But they're selling their playset, kind of undercutting the market here. This feels like really good value on Therion King Regulus. Like, it's a machine, but it's a free Omni negate, right? So there's so many machine archetypes now that like it feels like machine is like one more really solid archetype away from just always being a great deck. Like, you know how like Dragon Link has just been meta for like the last 5 years because there's just so many good dragons, and they keep printing more. And I think machines are kind of in a similar spot. So I'm definitely considering picking up Therion King Regulus. Because what's also interesting too about Therion King is like the other Therion stuff. Like he Therion King synergizes with the other Therion stuff, right? And so like Lily can be used in a plant deck. Empress can be used in a reptile deck. Bull can be used in a warrior deck. Duke can be used in a psychic deck. And Reaper can be used in an aqua-based strategy, right? And then on top of that, you can run Therion King Regulus as well, right? Because we saw that sometimes with Sun Avalon, where they would run a small little Therion package, and they would be able to get access to Therion King Regulus through Therion Lily Borea. So Therion King Regulus feels like really good. If it's under 30, it feels like really good, because I remember, I mean, just take a look at this chart, right? Because it's been nearing 30 before, and last time I did that, it shot all the way up to 60. Now, this is where we get into the R word again, right? The reprint. I probably should stop making that joke, but seriously though, like it's getting close to a reprint. It could get reprinted in the Megatins, which will make the value go down even more. But like I always say, the tins can't reprint everything. So if you're worried about a reprint for your favorite card, err on the side of caution, because if it's not in the Megatins, it's going to go up in value. But let me know what you guys think. What are the best cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! That you were looking for? Or it could be sets as well, like Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon Anniversary Booster Box, for example. 25th Anniversary Edition. But let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys click that like button, show your support for the channel, subscribe for more content. Most importantly of all, have a good day.